Thank you for joining me and the group of elected leaders and community leaders behind me. We are in the central city of Portland, Oregon, and it is a beautiful day, and we are very happy to be here speaking with you today. In my conversations directly with President Trump and Secretary Noem, I have been abundantly clear with them that Portland and the state of Oregon believe in the rule of law, and we can manage our own local public safety needs. There is no insurrection, there is no threat to national security, and there is no need for military troops in our major city. Military service members should be dedicated to real emergencies. The members of the Oregon National Guard, their mission is to stand up and protect Oregonians, and they will do that every day, but they are not needed in the city. They are not needed here. And you can tell because you're here with me in Portland. You can see that this city is safe and calm, and it is a beautiful day to be here. For those of you who are here downtown or watching at home, you know that our city is not the place that people think it is from years ago. There's business thriving. People are coming downtown. They are enjoying this community. We have students who are ready to go see the Lion King tonight at the Keller Auditorium. People are going to the Timbers match. People are downtown shopping. Folks who are getting ready to go to work at the restaurants here that make the Rose City a culinary capital are getting ready to go to work. People are shopping. People are going to the farmers markets or at the Saturday market. Portland's doing just fine. And I made that very clear to the president this morning. Our city is a far cry from the war-ravaged community that he has posted about on social media. And I conveyed that directly to him. That we got this, we are good, we are doing fine. And I also said to him, we have to be careful not to respond to outdated media coverage or misinformation that's out there. We know what's happening in our own city, and we are doing just fine. That being said, we do face real challenges in Portland, as does the rest of the country. We're worried about the cost of living. We want our schools to do what is necessary for our students, and we want to make sure that people have good jobs and homes that they can afford. I need help for those kinds of things, and that's the kind of help I need, not having military troops from the federal government in our state. President Trump's inconceivable insistence that we need federal troops in Portland does not address the real concerns in our communities. We do not need or want federal troops in Oregon stoking fear, creating conflict, and frankly escalating a situation that is under control. Any federal takeover with military troops in our state is a threat to communities across Oregon. It violates our right to govern ourselves. It interferes with local law enforcement's ability to fulfill their mission. And frankly, it drains taxpayer resources that could be better spent elsewhere. And again, I communicated that to the president directly. Oregon is our home. It is not a military target. Any deployment would be an abuse of power and a misuse of federal troops. People across the state and across the political spectrum here in Oregon are uniting together to peacefully oppose policies that they do not agree with. I believe in free speech and the ability to lawfully and peacefully protest. And I have a message for Oregonians. Let's not take the bait. Let's not respond to what the president is trying to do. We have to raise our voices absolutely, peacefully to the things that we believe in. But I also want to say that any property damage or violence of any kind will get us nowhere and will not be tolerated. If you want to stand in opposition to the Trump administration, I would ask that you lean into supporting your community, helping people, making things better here, because that's who we are as Oregonians. And I just want to wrap up by saying I believe the president does not have the authority to deploy federal troops on state soil. I'm coordinating with Attorney General Dan Rayfield to see if any response is necessary, and we will be prepared to respond if we have to. Oregon has not requested any federal assistance, and nor do we need it.
Joni Land, OPD. I'm wondering, has Secretary Kotek asked you to deploy the National Guard here in Oregon?
We have had written communication from the Department of War, and we are reviewing that. But I want to go back to my earlier conversations with both Secretary Noem and President Trump this morning. I was very clear with them. We disagree with the premise that we need federal troops here. And at this point, I am not going to be approving any utilization of Oregon National Guard.
Is that what you're asked for, Governor?
And we'll start here.
I'm Victor Parkowitz, paying to you. What was President Trump's response to you during those conversations? And also, are you planning to sue the federal government alongside Mayor Pete Wilson, similar to what California did when troops arrived there?
Well, I think this is a very fluid situation, so I'm not going to speak to future actions. My conversation with President Trump was trying to understand his rationale, and I believe it is based on information that is not accurate today. There are protests here, but it is not what we saw during the pandemic where we had significant violent protests. I told him that. He thinks there are elements here that create an insurrection. I told him there is no insurrection here and that we have this under control. I have complete faith in Portland Police and Chief Day to make sure that we're holding people accountable if they cross the line. But we have lawful protests here, and we do not need military troops.
Governor, one of the things at times was what part of your sexual request for National Guard?
It was a request to options that we could utilize Oregon National Guard troops paid by the federal government. I don't believe they're needed. And so I think when you get a request like that, you always have to ask why. Do we need the help? And I can tell you that we do not need federal troops here. We do not need to deploy the Oregon National Guard. Our local law enforcement is on top of this. They are prepared. If they are requesting mutual aid either from the Oregon State Police or other folks, we will go there next. But at this point, Portland Police hasn't handled. These are random acts of minor, a few individuals. People are primarily peacefully protesting here. We do not need federal troops.
Governor Noel Crombie with the Oregonian. How long was the call with the president? Was the secretary on that call? And can you just walk us through what the president said when you elaborated on your own concerns about the federal presence here?
Well, like a lot of Americans, a lot of Oregonians, I woke up to his social media. I immediately tried to reach Secretary Noem. We had a conversation about 10 minutes about what the basis of the concern was, and I reiterated that I believe that we have the situation under control at the ICE facility here in Portland. And I know our federal delegation reported on this yesterday that there's not a problem at the federal facility. And when there is a situation that requires police enforcement, it is happening and we are holding people accountable. And that's what I communicated to the secretary. I spoke with the president about an hour later. We had a similar conversation and I was very clear with him. We have this, we don't need help. We got this. Please do not send troops.
Just to clarify the timeline this morning, then, Governor, you had to reach out to the president after he posted on Truth Social, or did anyone from the White House initiate that conversation before he posted it on social media?
We had no proactive communication from the White House until I reached out.
This is Andrew Schwartz with Willamette Week. Governor, can you clarify the statement regarding, it sounded like you were saying a memo was sent seeking authorization to use the Oregon National Guard. Did I misunderstand that? There was some kind of document, it sounded like the Trump administration sent to you regarding the deployment of the National Guard.
Because of the president's statement and the direction to the Secretary of Defense, they sent us some a pro forma invite under different authorizations. We are not responding to any of those at the moment. My goal right now is to have no federal troops in Oregon at the request of the president. Everyone is united here to say we don't need it, and that is a no. I'm going to continue communicating that to the president, and I hope he will be open to reconsidering the deployment.
Only time for 3 more questions. We're going to go here.
Governor Warjolis from Fox 12 Oregon. I know at a press conference last night with other local leaders, there was some concerns with protesters in attendance voicing concerns about local leadership not doing enough. We keep hearing, that we're going to communicate that these troops aren't needed. What do you have to say to some of these people who are saying that you all are not doing enough to prevent this from happening?
I think we're being very clear about what our values are, who we are, what we want to see happen, and what is actually happening here in Portland, which is a safe city that people can feel comfortable being here. We do not have the type of situation that the president seems to think we have, and so we're communicating that. Our job as elected leaders is to be clear with Oregonians about what the situation is and communicate that to the federal government and President Trump. I also want to say that we all have responsibility to speak our voices, lift our voices, speak our political truths peacefully. And Oregonians have been doing that for months. Hundreds of thousands of people talking and being in the streets, lifting up their voices and saying what they do not like about the Trump administration. And they have been doing that peacefully and lawfully. If people cross the line, we will hold them accountable. And so I don't think anyone should be misconstrued that we are not also standing up for free speech. We believe in free speech and free expression and political discourse in this state and in this country, and we can do it lawfully and peacefully.
Governor, you actually spoke.
Who are you and what?
James Farley, if you are Oregonian. Governor, you actually spoke with President Trump. I mean, what was his response? You haven't told us. Did he comprehend your message? What did he say in reply? What's his plan?
As one executive to the other, I spoke with the president. I asked him not to send troops. I tried to understand his reasoning, and I told him we are taking care of it, that I have full faith and confidence in local law enforcement, and the folks here today, we do not need federal troops. And I said, we disagree, and he said, well, let's keep talking.
That was his reply.
Yes.
Last question. Go ahead.
We've seen in other states Trump asking governors to send their National Guard troops. It seems clearly Oregons would not be working on behalf of the president. Have you been in contact with any other states' governors about requests they've received to send National Guard troops to Oregon?
So a couple things. I have been in contact today with Governor Pritzker and Governor Newsom to learn from their experience. As the Commander-in-Chief of the Oregon National Guard, I will only deploy our members when it is needed to protect Oregonians. There is no mission for them right now. I am not deploying any of the Oregon National Guard. And let me just remind people, we have other things to worry about in this state. I just did a conflagration order this morning as well for a fire at the Moon Complex in Southwest Oregon on the border of Coos and Curry County. I want to make sure that Oregon National Guard members who are trained to fight fires are available to do that if I need them. That is the type of thing that I am focused on, not some made up problem in downtown Portland.